Well, they're around all the time, as silly as it sounds. Maybe not so much with the basking shark, but there's a lot of people more on the water now, and now we've got an environmental department that is waterbound. They're out in the bay all the time there, they're going around, they're looking at things, and the more people there are out on the water, the more we're going to see. And you've got the dolphin safari people with Rossiera Spada, and she's out there taking photographs and seeing humpback whales, and it's not the first time she's seen them. They are common, and it depends what you call common. They're not common a garden, we can go out there today and just see them like that, but it's not unusual to see these.
Not even a basking shark. It's the first time that I recall having been told that there was one sighted here in Gibraltar.
No, go and ask the customs people. They were off the eastern side, as this particular one was in their boat when one came alongside their boat, and it was the size of their jemmy, and they weren't quite sure what it was until they saw it with his mouth open. You're not going to see them all the time, but they are following the plankton all the time, going around following and feeding, just like the humpback whale's doing.
As you say, eating plankton, therefore they are actually completely harmless to humans, even though they look quite fearsome.
Well, they're very, very large, and they do look fearsome, and to all intents and purposes, they're harmless to people. But what we should be doing if we're out there in a boat, give them a wide-ish berth and just observe them, like we should be doing with dolphins and everything else. The orca, on the other hand, is a different kettle of fish altogether. He does have big teeth.
As regards the basking shark, I was reading on the way down to do the interview that some people confuse it with the great white shark. It looks quite similar, but of course their natures are totally different.
Their natures are totally different, and when you see a white shark, it's sleeker and it moves totally different in the water. The basking shark is slow, it's tranquilo, it moves through the water very slowly, close to the surface. White shark doesn't do that. It brushes the surface and it's moving a lot faster.
And the reason for the name basking shark, of course, is that it feeds largely for plankton on the surface of the water and seems as if it's basking.
Correct. You've hit it in one.
Okay, and what do you think is bringing them here? Why have we found this shark here in Gibraltar?
Food. They're just following food. They're following the zooplankton that's in the water there and the currents that are bringing it in from the Atlantic there. Large currents coming into the Mediterranean. There's about a cubic million meters of water every second coming in there. Brings a lot of food for them. They're following their food source.
And of course they're a food source themselves for humans, which means that their category at the moment is vulnerable.
They're very vulnerable. Some people would, and it's more from the east where they actually get it because they use it for all different types of things. But here in the west, we don't catch basking sharks. We don't take basking sharks, we don't take orcas, and we're certainly not going to take a humpback whale. And the days of whaling, even though there was a whaling station on the far side of the bay, that was ended in the 60s, very early 60s, that closed down. We don't hunt whales anymore.
Okay, and for the basking shark, it was an opportunity here to, I suppose the equivalent is to tag them, to take measurements of their fins and so on, and to use that information for scientific purposes.
It would be if we had a tagging program, and it may be one of the things that the Environmental Agency will be taking on board as they're slowly growing and getting better at everything that they're doing, because it is relatively new what this team's doing. It's a very good team that they've got, and they're taking on board a lot of different aspects within the marine reserve. It's not just chasing away fishermen. It's not just chasing away fishermen at all. It's monitoring, watching, looking, collecting information.